But we'd like to understand that, so we're moving towards stopping the doing business index, but we need to alert the public and the investors and everyone related that we're not doing this only to be ranked number one. We are doing this for ease and the business environment. This has not been clear. We seem to be very focused on being the top on that index.
Well, this is a very interesting question. The reform agenda in Rwanda is not really a numbers game. It's not about being number one or number two. It's more about, sustainability. It's more about building an attractive investment destination. And we've been doing that for the last decade very consistently, and the results have been impressive. So you can be number one or number two, but if that doesn't translate into increased investments, or if it doesn't translate into increased appetite for investment in the country, then it's a futile exercise.
Right.
But 10 years ago, when we started looking at this World Bank doing business index and how we could actually benchmark with the best in class and try to improve our climate. 10 years ago, we were registering about $800 million of investment. Today, we've registered 1.6 billion last year. So that's more than a doubling effect, right? So it's very important for our people to know that actually continuous reforms and making the country more attractive to investment is not just about a rank. It's about improving the lives of our people. It's about getting the country to be attractive to both local and foreign investors.
Right.
Now, at the end of the day, you also need to be recognized for what you're doing, and you get ranked. Right? Yes. Now, if you were number 2 in Africa and you're being ranked by an independent assessor, that's good news. That's good news, because then when you look at the CEOs in their boardrooms trying to make investment decisions in terms of their expansion, one of the things they look at is the investment climate.
Right.
And some of the sources of information they are looking at is the World Bank business reports.
Absolutely perfect.
So really, I think we should look at it in a more holistic way. Not just the ranking per se. The ranking is a good one to have, but the fuel that keeps the reform agenda moving is really the results that we see on the ground in terms of increased investments, in terms of jobs for our people, in terms of openness of the country to visitors and the like. If you look at the performance of the MICE sector, if you look at the visitors visiting the country post the immigration reforms of opening up visa for every nationality, every person on the world, that really speaks volumes.
Come together to one picture.
So this is really about making ourselves more attractive. There are things within our means that we can do. There are things beyond our control. We're not going to become all of a sudden a country that is linked to the sea directly. We'll remain landlocked.
And land-linked.
And land-linked.
Your word, right.
But there are things that we can do within our means, like reforms, like improving the business climate, that makes us probably equal attractive to somebody who is also on the coast but really doing much in his business environment.
Perfect. You've talked about investment climate. That brings me now to our next guest. Allow us to put a pause on things there.